3 times today.
I dropped flowers off
They're
to the
all-
Hi,
ladies.
this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
I can't do that.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Roll Call, and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves, but welcome,
we
everyone.
could test you to see if you know who we are. Can you remember?
Maybe, yes.
We're not going to do that to you. No. Thank you for being here
Yeah.
today.
Of course.
It's great to
The
see
man
you.
behind the camera.
That's
I'll let
it.
You guys take it away.
It is Monday, April the 14th.
14th. Beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
It really
Great
is a
to
beautiful day, guys.
Find us.
Oh,
Oh,
hey.
there he
There's
is.
a man in
Ben
Memphis.
is joining us too.
It happened to be halftime, so I wanted to stop. I wanted to pop in and say hello. I have to go again. And also, Coach Miranda, amazing softball game today.
Yeah, it really was a walk-off grand slam. That's
Pretty incredible.
amazing.
Wow.
Oh, 'cause they had a game today because of the
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
All
a
right, guys.
walk-off game.
Home game?
Hey, don't like Dan more than you like me. I'll see you guys soon.
I don't know. That might
Well,
be
we'll-
tough.
We'll let you
It might
know.
be tough. We'll let you know.
All right, bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Ben. Bye. And our special guest with us today, most people know him from his athletic side, Coach Miranda. But today you're here to talk about 2 programs that you're running that are really important for the community and for the students that are involved. So we're going to ask you first to tell us what those 2 programs are, and then we have some questions for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
It's an honor for sure. Yeah, I'm a teacher at Wesley High School. I teach medical careers there, and in our CTE department, this is my 3rd year with the program, and I'm very passionate about it. It's a great program, I think, and the whole CTE department at the high school has grown leaps and bounds just in my 3 years there, which is awesome to see, and a lot of support from the administration. And I think it's so needed in our town and really in our country. The industry-based programs and these tech programs that really are just begging for employees. That's what we found when we reach out to our industry partners. The number one thing they say is just we need quality employees. They can't find people to fill some of these positions. So for the school to be, running a program not only in medical but in culinary and construction, in P-Tech. IT, software design, criminal justice. There's so many great programs there that kids are taking advantage of now. So our medical career is one. It's still in its infancy stage. I feel like this is my 3rd year with it, but then it was around 4 years, so we're really about 7 years in, and it's growing really good. Next year I've got my numbers, and I'm capped out in 3 of my classes.
Oh, you
Great.
really?
Yeah, so which is great. 2 other classes, in really healthy numbers wise. So it's growing. Next year we'll have 81 students in the medical careers program.
Wow.
And 3 years ago we had low 30s. So it's
wonderful.
really growing, and we're starting to see all the fruits of our labor kind of come out as well.
Mhm.
We've got. I was just telling Mary Beth that down in Florida we have somebody in our in med school down there. We've got 2 girls over at the URI nursing program. We've got somebody in a pharmacy program at URI. Now we have 3 employees at Westerly Ambulance that graduated from the program. So we're starting to see these kids go out and either go further in school or get a job right out of high school, which is pretty awesome to see. And it's really refreshing to see the visions of all these different people come together, and now the kids benefit from it.
Yeah, if they're taking off and jumping into that career, that's what it's all about. I mean,
Really
or
is.
going to school, furthering their education to go into it. That's a big question. Do they do that? I mean, I'm sure there's always some that may decide, well, after doing it, is it a 4-year program?
It is a 4-year
You
program.
start freshman year and you go right through your senior year?
Yes,
Can you jump in midstream, or you have to go all 4 to?
you can. Most of my kids come in as freshmen, but I do have one of my best students right now is a senior. She didn't come in until her junior year. So she didn't get all 4 classes. She just got EMT 1 and 2, her junior and senior program, senior year. So she will be able to test out and get her national registry and get a job as an EMT right away. But most kids do come in their freshman year in order to be what we call credentialed, which is basically, get a stamp on your diploma and get, the rope when you graduate and that honor of being in a program for 4 years.
Mhm.
It's almost like you would major in it in college.
Right.
That's what you get. But no, you can get in usually no later than junior year.
And how do you promote it? Because that means you're trying to promote these programs in 8th grade.
We are, yeah.
How you doing? You're down in the middle school, right?
It's very much like, trying to promote your athletic program, your athletic team, where,
Yeah.
when I was a football coach, I would go down into the middle school and we'd set up a table and, we'd sell the football program. And now I'm setting up a table and I'm selling the medical careers program, next to, chef who's selling the culinary program. And it's cool. We go down, we usually have the 8th graders up. They get to visit the high school in early winter. And then we go down there again in late winter, early spring, and the kids get to come through. We bring all of our students that go down, they volunteer when we set up all of our mannequins and all of our toys, and their kids get to go through and get their hands on it. And it's been really beneficial for us as a program. We get a lot of interest from that, and talking to the teachers and the administrators from the middle school, they always say that there's a buzz after that week that we're there.
Because all the programs set up at the same time. You do like a job or whatever, education fair, whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's like a
One
CTE
shot.
day for the middle school. We go down. We have usually it's one of our early release days, and that's what's cool about it.
Oh, every day's not early release. I thought it was every day 2:00. They're out, aren't they? We work till 4:30, 5, 6.
Well, as a teacher, we do too. We just don't have the kids in front of us.
That's right. That's right.
So it's an early release day for us, and which is great because our kids will volunteer to come back.
Down,
They don't have to, and our high school kids will volunteer to go down to help promote our program and to get community service hours and work-based learning hours as well. So it's cool.
That definitely speaks highly of the program. If you can start them your freshman year and they're there all 4 years. I mean, you can't even get kids in athletics all 4 years usually.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a plus, and I'm sure we'll see the benefits of it once. The program, once the kids are a little older out of the criminal justice program. So it's definitely.
13 years old. You're trying to get these kids to decide what they're doing at 13 years old.
Yeah.
Well,
What
we
path they're
were
taking.
talking earlier, when you graduate, most of the time you don't know what you want to do,
I
right?
tell people I still don't know
Specifics,
what I want to
that's
do when
right.
I grow up. I don't know
Yeah.
what I want to do when I grow up.
And this is great because they've been exposed to so many more things than we were, right? And a lot of them, I think, are looking at you guys and saying, hey, I want to be a police officer, or I want to be an EMT. How do I do it? And now there's something in their school that allows them to try it, right? Because just like an internship, sometimes it's as
Right.
much about
Oh, no,
knowing
because-
what you don't
right.
like as what you do
Well,
like.
like I said, you may get some that jump in and say, okay, this isn't for me, and
Right.
swap over
Exactly.
to some other program or something. I mean, they may decide they don't like it. I don't know. They get in, decide they don't like the sight of blood. I guess it's probably not
It
the
literally happened to you.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go there with
Yeah.
an actual. I had a girl that came in freshman year and started taking intro to medical. That's the freshman year program class. And about 2 weeks in, she says, "Hey, Mr. Miranda, can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Well, I don't think this is for me." I'm like, "Well, why don't you give it a couple more weeks?" She goes, "I just really found out I don't like blood.
There you go.
Probably not the right.
probably not.
profession."
Yeah, you're probably not the right profession.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
okay. She wouldn't have known if
That's exactly
right.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
if she had gone through and then found out in college, I don't like this?
I
It is-
consider it a
yeah.
win if kids either A, find out I do want to keep going with this,
Right.
or B, find out they don't want to do it. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
If you can leave high school having an idea of 4 years of this is the direction. How many kids leave high school and they go for general studies in college because they have no idea what they're going to do or no idea what they want to do? And I think it's wonderful. Go over the 4 year. What do you do each year? How's the years broken down?
So freshman year, the kids take intro to medical. That's only a semester class. And we do basic first aid, basic CPR, the history of the healthcare field. And then we get into insurance, which
Oh, that's
the kids gain
that's
a
a
lot
whole-
of respect
that's
for
just-
their
yeah.
parents
Yeah.
that's a whole
after
lot.
dealing learning.
Especially
what
Rhode Island, right?
deductible
Rhode Island
is and all
reimbursement
that.
rates. We could have a whole.
And then we get into, we do about a week in the major medical field. So we'll do a week on what it's like to be a nurse, what it's like to be a dentist, what it's like to be a physical therapist. and we'll go and we get, we do cool labs where the kids will learn how to do sutures. We have mock-up, teeth. The kids will learn what it's like to use dentistry tools. And I try to at least, expose them to the major medical professions, because the medical field is huge. I mean,
Right.
you can be
So many options.
yeah, if you want to be a forward-facing to a patient person, then there's a job for you. If you want to be somebody in a lab
Yeah.
that wants to deal with a microscope, there's a job for you. Or work on a computer all day, there's a job for you. And as we know, the medical industry is very secure. There's always going to be medical jobs, and it pays well. So we try to expose our kids to as many of those fields as possible freshman year. And then sophomore year, they take EMR, which is a year-long program. And that's really the entry level to first responder emergency medicine. And usually at the end of EMR, they either know like, all right, I want to keep going with this, because it starts to get a little harder. I mean, it takes some grit. There's some pretty good accountability and dedication that has to be there from a successful student. And usually at the end of the sophomore year, they know like, okay, this is probably something I should keep going with, or I don't. And then junior year, they take EMT 1, which is basically the first half of EMT. And also junior year, they have to do 40 hours of hospital volunteer time. So they go out, we have partnerships with Westerly Hospital. We have partnerships with L&M, with Bacchus, we just have a brand new one with South County, and our kids get to go in and they'll volunteer for a minimum of 40 hours. And they work with the nurses and the doctors right on the floor. Some of our kids got to work in the emergency department.
The ED department, that'll
Yeah.
open some eyes.
It
Let
was-
me tell you, that'll
yeah, right.
open some eyes.
And they'd come to school the next day and be like, Mr. Miranda, I did this, or
Right.
Mr. Miranda, I did that. And that's really cool. And then senior year, they take EMT 2, which is the second half of EMT. And then we really try to focus senior year on more internship experience kind of, options out there, where we'll go out and our kids will go down to Wesley Education Center nursing lab, and they'll do a class there with all their equipment, working with their staff. They have to do 20 hours of ride time over at Wesley Ambulance,
There you go.
and which is great. It's an eye opener for those guys as well.
That's another eye opener.
Yeah.
You start going on rides on ambulances, you'll figure it out pretty quick.
It's a lot different
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're doing CPR in the back of an ambulance
Yeah.
when it's moving,
Yeah.
as
Right,
opposed
right.
to when it's sitting still in the ambulance.
And it's
doesn't
a
move
real
in the classroom.
person, and it's not.
Yeah, a plastic dummy.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can actually, I think you can be members of the ambulance corps at 15, I don't even know what age, 16, say, right? Can't you be a member of that?
Yeah, we actually just, it's a great segue into the program that we're just starting now, which is the Wesley First Responder Program. And Wesley Ambulance had a junior program years ago, kind of went away, along with a lot of the fire departments in our area, kind of went away from it for a little while. And what we're seeing now, especially in the fire service, is they can't get people to apply for jobs. I mean, in 1996, 95, when I was hired in East Hartford Fire Department, we had 700 people take the test for 13 spots. And I remember the high school cafeteria was filled twice just for the testing process.
Wow.
Nowadays, they'll hold a testing process and they'll get 10 people that
Right.
will apply maybe.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
the chief can attest to
Same with
that.
us. I think I got hired 20 years ago. It was 181 people for like 4 spots. And now, you get maybe 15, 20 for a spot. So, but
It's just
like,
not the same. We used
yeah,
to
like you
fill the
said-
same thing, cafeterias. We used to fill
Oh,
the
yeah.
cafeteria up at the high school, fill it up, we'd overflow it, run the test, run an agility test. It took, now it's just, it's not the same.
Why
It's
do you think that
attracting
is?
The people.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? What do you hear from the kids?
I don't really know, honestly. It's competitive. We have raised our levels of, expectations as departments. We're requiring more. It takes a lot more time and a lot more schooling to get the certifications needed to become a fireman. Volunteering is down across the board.
Yeah, but
I-
it's nationwide.
overall,
Yeah.
And that's where I was exposed to the fire service. I started volunteering because my playing career was done. I needed like a team thing. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you go be a fireman? It's kind of like being on a team." I had no idea. And then I ran into my first burning building. I was like, "This is great." Like, it's not
The
good.
adrenaline rush. huh?
Yeah. And so it was a natural segue from being a volunteer into being a paid fireman. You just don't see the volunteerism as much as it used to. So we've introduced this brand new program. We just actually started marketing it today. And, it kind of started as a little bit of an idea of couple people, and then we've worked with the police department. We've worked with Park and Rec in town. Julie has been great, and she has a desperate need for lifeguards, and the conservation program down in Watch Hill, they have a desperate need for workers, CSOs for the police department. So the Wesley ambulance. So we're trying to, we brought together all these different departments, which is so awesome to see the excitement that everybody was, still had from meeting to meeting when this thing was growing, that now we've got really a partnership with the major programs, all the departments in town, that we're trying to promote, getting 15, 16, 17-year-olds in, giving them an overview of all the different types of first responder programs that we have in this town, and then letting them pick what they want to specialize in.
Yeah, because we had a Explorer type program a couple of years ago, went by the wayside. It was a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we didn't have enough people to do it. And kind of we would use that, to funnel people in to be CSOs too, but it just wasn't enough. But definitely having all the players in town, expose it to all the kids, it's great. I mean, it definitely will bring our numbers up. It'll bring your numbers up, and even your medical program, it'll bring everybody together a lot more.
But even like you mentioned, lifeguard falls into that service oriented, you're a responder, you help, it's first aid, it's rescues, and it's not just Wesley, it's nationwide with lifeguards too. And back in my day,
when you were a lifeguard, what did you have to do?
Competitive.
Right.
You couldn't just go find a job anywhere. The jobs are filled. I mean, you were competing with people to get a lifeguard.
You had to
job.
break in. You had to get lucky and know somebody.
You had to get in the door, right?
Right.
Now they would almost, we're offering incentives and everything else just to bring them on. And again, you have to have that service. You have to. Same thing with the ambulance. If something happens, the ambulance is responding. I mean, it just is. Fire is going to respond. I mean, you have to have those volunteers. We've had the fire and EMS side on also, and talked about some of the challenges and struggles that they have in how they're marketing their respective fields, I guess, to get people to come in. But I imagine the program that you're doing is got to be, they have to open it with open arms. I mean, welcome it with open arms. I mean, they got to be like, bring them in, especially the younger generation.
And we were talking earlier, I asked you about, is it like what you used to do, building a football team? You're building teams, right? By getting all these people together. So it's really not far afield of what you used to do.
It really is. And I was just thinking about it the other day. It's so similar. It really is. It's a program is a program, and I didn't make it up. You gotta get the right people on the bus first, and to drive the bus and to lead the bus, and then you get the wrong people off of it, and then you start to put people in the right seats. And that's very much like this program here. Is that I was so happy when Chief when Lieutenant Rathgarber came, and Chief Reel from Watch Hill, and all the people that needed to be around the table that could make the decisions, that could say, yeah, we're in this, we're there, and they were excited about it. And that gave me a lot of motivation to kind of keep it going and to try to get it going even more. So once those people are involved, now we just got to spread the word. We got to market, we got to recruit, just like you're building a football program, and make sure it's done right. You don't have to do everything, but what you do, you should do really well. And they're just going to try to keep it going from program to program, and then hopefully in a couple of years, the kids that come through come back to help teach it and promote it, and then it just kind of feeds itself. And that's
if you have 80 people signed up, and 3 years ago you had 30 something. Yeah, obviously something's speaking for itself. I mean, somebody's, it's not you just spreading the word; it's others spreading the word about the program. It's obviously trickling down somehow, whether it's the brothers and sisters of the kids from 3 years ago, or neighbors or family members, or I don't know, word out in the community.
Westerly Education Center, having them here has certainly brought a lot of notoriety to the community, and we're filling jobs. You now have something with them.
Yes, we do. We go down to their nursing lab. We have a good partnership with them, and it's not just our program. Andrew Patty and Dan McKenna, who run our PTech and construction program, they bring kids down to the Wesley Education Center all the time in their lab, and their welding lab, construction and PTech lab, and their Wesley Education is like, send us kids. Like we have jobs for them, like right we have kids that have job offers from their programs before they even graduate high school.
That's great.
which is, you know,
And they're decent paying jobs too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not,
Right.
small jobs. They're decent paying jobs and career based jobs. You can,
You
Make
my one of my cousins right after high school. He's working at EB. I mean, he's full-time job right at EB. It's what he wanted to do. And he,
Mhm.
you're making decent money.
oh yeah, absolutely.
No college debt.
No college debt.
Yeah,
Right.
that's wonderful. What do you hear from the students when they're in these programs? What kind of response do you get from them?
We love to see them when they're out doing the hands-on stuff. You know, kids get into these programs because they want to be hands-on, whether it's culinary or construction or medical. You know, they want that dealing with, in my field, bodies and medical problems and figure problem solving and dealing with tools to help the patients. So when we go out and we do things like we just did a Skills USA competition where we brought 15 kids from medical and a whole bunch from cosmetology, a whole bunch from culinary as well. Criminal justice went, and we competed up at CCRI, and our kids went, they're in their uniform and they're competing with kids all over Rhode Island. And that's when it's really awesome as an instructor to kind of sit back and just watch them glow and do what they do. And because, when we're in class, it's class.
Right.
But when we get out and when we hear stories of kids that went to Wesleyan once and they did their ride time and then they show up to school the next morning and you're like, Mr. Miranda, I saw an overdose, or Mr. Miranda, I saw nothing, but now I got to see what they do when they do nothing, because that's part of the job.
Right.
Right. It's not like it is on TV where you go and you do a call every single moment that you're there.
1 hour TV show, they handle 30 calls.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they learn.
And they solve the case.
That used to be a question I answered. I asked in many orals, how do you handle boredom? Because again, if there's nothing going on, what are you going to
That's
do?
true.
How do you handle it? How do you handle it if there's nothing going on? There are times when there isn't, but there are times when there's a lot going on. And, you go crazy, trying to fit it all in. I get it. Wonderful. What about the fire side? What is your program? You mentioned that part of the program too, right?
Yes, yeah. So
So-
Watch Hill Fire is going to be the host department, but we also now are gaining interest from Dunn's Corners, from Misquamicut, and hopefully Westerly.
I'm sure they'll all jump.
I
I'm
hope
sure
so.
they'll all jump on.
I hope so. And it's not just going to be like a Watch Hill thing. I mean, we are the host of it.
Yeah.
And, but we want to incorporate all the different departments in town.
What does it entail? Is a whole program just for that end of things, or it's incorporated into the same?
Same program. Yeah. So we kind of laid out a year-long calendar already where, in June, we're going to do a junior lifeguarding program. We're going to do an intro to fire. We're going to do a boating safety course as well, working with the Coast Guard.
Mhm.
And then, as we get through the winter months, we'll be doing a little bit more indoor stuff. And then we're always going to be mixing in the fire side. So we'll take like the intro to firefighter course, which is called Firefighter 1, and we'll break that up over the year. And kids will learn how to stretch a hose line, a little bit of hydraulics on what it's like to pump, a fire engine, how to put a ladder up, how to, use hand tools, how to force a door, how to all the different basic level firefighting things that we're going to be teaching these kids and exposing them to throughout the year, as well as the criminal justice side, as the police side. We're going to teach them about the CSO program. And I know Lieutenant Rathgarber talked about the traffic safety program. So
Yeah, and we'll expose them to the car stops. We'll expose them to dispatch. We'll expose them as much as we can, so they'll see the other side of what we do.
Well, the thing is, there's many communities, as you know, that EMS falls under fire. Right? It's all the same organization, right? Here it's unique. Westerly is unique, not unique totally, but there's many full-time fires handling EMS services too.
it is, and that's where the money is, and that's
Yeah.
where the jobs are. I mean, I worked in East Hartford for 26 years.
Yeah.
We did 10,000 calls a year,
Wow.
and 75 to 80% of those were EMS calls.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You do
when
extradition, right? I mean, extrication out of motor vehicles, which all the fires do now. It
We
used
do
to be
extradition.
extradition, yeah, extrication. And where it used to be ambulance, but then it transferred over. I don't even know. Was it 10 years ago now? I don't even know how long ago it is.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. When you call 911, in East Hartford, whether it was for a heart attack, a stub toe, or your house is on fire, the first thing you get is a fire truck at your house, and everybody is an EMT and paramedic. So a lot of communities are going to that because, the fire department is usually
Mm.
always within 5 minutes away,
Right.
depending upon where you are in your town or your city. So we're usually the first responders, for that.
Right. So that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
So how many, you said you maxed out in classes? You can't even take any more if someone else signed up?
We have a 20 seat capacity in my classroom. I'm the only one that teaches it. So, next year we've got 30 freshmen, 20 sophomores, 20 juniors, and 11 seniors.
And are those
So-
11, they've all come through the program, so they
Yes.
are guaranteed a seat?
They are. Yeah, they are. If prior to their freshman year, if they apply to our CTE program and they get accepted, they are guaranteed a seat. And it's a good problem to have. We just had this
Oh,
conversation the other
that's a good
day.
problem.
What do we do when we get 21 kids that come
Right.
in, or 22 or 23?
Yep.
And hopefully we have that problem pretty soon. And there's other towns that I coach travel softball as well, and one of my players is from Norwich, and I just had a conversation with her because she applied to NFA's EMT program, and they actually have an application process where the kids got to turn in an application, a resume.
Really?
They go through an interview, and then they accept kids from there. I mean, in the future, that may be something
That
that we
may be
have to
something.
do.
That's like you said, it's a good problem to have. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Do you work together with the other programs like criminal justice? I mean, do you guys work I mean, at criminal justice, you may, but I'm assuming cosmetology, am I saying that?
Cosmetology.
Cosmetology, yes. Cutting hair, well, unless they're going for a
Mhm.
haircut, right? Or food.
Well, they do other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, we do. We all work really well with one another. Criminal justice, I get a lot of kids that take EMR because that's one of the classes that they require.
And what does
they're
EMR stand
recommended
for?
to take for criminal justice. So I get
What is
some
EMR?
CG
Emergency
kids.
medical. What is EMR?
EMR is emergency medical responder.
Response.
It's like the
Okay.
first level of EMS.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're
it's
basic
basic.
academy
Yeah.
level.
So if there's a parent watching or student watching right now and they want to know about getting into this, is it something they talk to a guidance counselor about, or what do they do?
Yeah, they can talk to a guidance counselor at the middle school, and they have all the information on our programs as well. So they can show them what the course outline is. They could show them the progression of courses throughout every program. And then, we do visit down there so they can talk to us. They can send us an email. We can answer, any kind of questions in that regard. And I invite them to come up to our open houses. We've had a couple open houses where they come in and tour the program, and they tour the classrooms, and they get to experience it. And from there, they can go to the Wesley High School website, and they can go to the CTE department. They can apply to be a CTE student. And what I tell kids too, especially when they come through open house, is it's a lot like college. And Mr. Lacey, you had a great point about how kids having to select like 4 years earlier than
Yeah.
they used to. That's where education is now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Is that it used to be kids didn't have to pick until they graduated high school. And now that's kind of getting pushed 4 years ahead. And you really got to kind of have an idea, but it's okay to change, just like
Right.
it is in
Oh, it is.
college.
There's no doubt.
If
Yeah.
a kid enrolls in my program and they get, a little bit into it, even a year into it, and they're like, I think I want to be more criminal justice, that you can transfer over and you can move around as well. There's a lot of flexibility there.
Do they still have to take the English courses, the
That's what I was
math
thinking.
courses? Is that all part of it, or is that not?
It is. Yeah, it is very much. That's still the core of the school. So those are all the required courses. Really, our CTE courses fit into their elective spots. So the only downfall for being like a medical student is it occupies a lot of your electives that you could use on
Art or
art,
music or something?
pottery,
Mhm.
music, something like that.
Yeah.
So it is hard. I have my juniors and my seniors this year are really high achieving students. They're my junior class, I have some of the best students that are in that actual junior class, and they're the best for a reason. So they're involved in so many different things in student council and Skills USA, and really a lot of AP courses. So the only challenge for them is to try to balance it all. So they'll come
Yeah,
to me
because
like,
you got to figure, because you must have to take a science, a math, and English, PE. I don't know if you have to take social studies still or whatever.
I mean,
but-
Yeah, I
they're
would
taking
think so.
they're taking language in middle school. Like my daughter's taking languages. It's like we didn't do that in middle school. So you can
Right.
definitely tell it's getting. They're definitely more focused on the high school part of it is the technical stuff. which is, I mean, it's nice not having to take art if you have no interest in art, or, tech class if you don't want to do
Right.
tech stuff. You want to focus on what you need to focus on. It's probably a much better environment.
Well, and I think about those students who do know what they want to do. I mean, I think of my own son. He
Yeah.
was, 3 feet
that's
high.
good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he was like, I'm going to be a fireman. And if a course like this was offered, I mean, that would have been great for him, because then I think he would have done better in his other stuff, because he
Okay.
just wanted to,
Right.
do this kind of thing. So really, whether it's culinary, whether it's cosmetology, what you're doing, you know, you're picking students who want to be there, right? It's
Yes.
different than you get put into a class.
Yeah, and my first year or two, we did have, some of those students that weren't sure and maybe were in it for the wrong reasons, but now, kind of words out, like it takes a certain grit level to be in
Right.
in these programs, and we have all of our kids picked to be there, so they're motivated. And the other great thing about our program that would be, awesome for parents to hear is this is our first year that our kids actually get college credit. So
That's
all
great.
of our medical career kids will receive 8 college credits that are transferable
Wow,
through
that's great.
CCRI, which is huge. RIDE has now changed their rules with college credit classes that all have to be transferable credits. So it's not like our kids even have to go to CCRI
Right. They can,
in order to get the 8 credits. As long as they pass our medical careers EMT1 and EMT2 programs, when they apply to college, they're going to take a CCRI transcript that says 8 college credits and bring that with them as well.
That's great.
So-
I'm willing to bet
that's
most of the kids probably take AP classes, so they'll have college credit classes on top of the classes you have. That's a big advantage of coming in.
less you have to do when you get to college. Do you
Well, it's
find
not
student
only-
athletes?
Yeah.
Do you find student athletes participating in these CTE programs?
Yeah. One of
I mean, I know you say they try to juggle everything, which is why I asked that. If you're playing a sport too, that's a challenge.
it is, and I think the successful student athletes is a reason why they're successful, and usually
Yeah.
they're successful students as well. I think
Hmm.
a lot of that goes hand in hand. And I have males on the football team that are in our program. I have a
Mhm.
lot of,
Okay.
I think the girls basketball team. I think I had half of the girls
Yeah.
basketball team
Mhm.
in my program, which was awesome because I announce it too.
Right.
So it was I always wanted to say, like,
Mhm.
and Emerson
Yeah.
Federico, who got a 97 on
Right.
her test today, is entering the game.
Right.
So it's really awesome to see those kids in our program, because that's kind of where I came from, was the athletic side.
Mhm.
And now I'm on the other side of it, on the academic side. And to have that connection with those kids, obviously they're driven and they know how to balance their time.
Mhm.
They know what it's like to be accountable for something bigger than themselves. And those are the kind of kids that you want in the program. Those are the kind of kids you want in the police department, the fire department, the
Oh,
ambulance.
absolutely.
Right. Because you have to be part of a team, don't you? When you're working in these
Yeah.
different environments, you're part of a team. You're not alone.
It's the ability to work as a team, but also work independently. Forming your own decisions, and that's for any of these first responders.
Yeah, it's quick decision making. I mean, you got to really be up on things to get through it. I mean, you really do.
What do you get out of it?
It's, when I retired from the fire service in 2022, I was off for 2 days before I started this job. And I see, I joke because, I didn't know what I was going to kind of do. I mean, I had this, I retired knowing I was going into this, but I think it fills that void big time for me, because I have to be doing something.
You got to work 5 days a week now. You're
That
suddenly
is
in the
hard,
fire
right,
service.
Mr. Lacey?
And I just say that out of envy,
You
because
know.
we had to work. We had to work.
So you guys snuck
Yeah.
another firefighter on. So
Yeah.
you hid
Yeah,
that.
I know. I know.
Being nice.
These,
Sorry.
I know they work. What do you
Well,
work?
you gotta
24
book the
on,
guests.
48 off, or something.
24/72, and trust me,
24/72 off.
24/72 is what
That should have been a fire. They like
I know.
firefighters. Should have been one.
I know they like firefighters better than police. That's what I
And
always say.
all my ex-fireman buddies, they'll always, text me on like
Yeah.
a Wednesday morning when it's like, 70 degrees and they're going out fishing. They're like, "Hey, Dwayne, what are you doing right now?"
I'm in class.
Monday through
Yeah.
Friday job. That's
Right.
what I'm jumping
Right.
into now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I very much, it's very rewarding. It really is, just to be, I love teaching, and to see the program the way it is, and the kids when they're out there doing, when they get a job. I just had one, text me a couple hours ago, for some information because he's applying at Wesleyan once and he's in pharmacy school right now. And when you get that, and that is just to be a part of that community.
You're definitely gonna start seeing it now because you've been there just long enough now
Yeah.
where you're gonna start seeing them.
You
Good
see them go
jobs.
out and work and see them in the field, or they'll come back to. I mean, that's what you said.
I hope so. Yeah.
How is it? How are these programs received by the other faculty at the school? Because I mean, there's some people, education. Now you have these career programs starting. How is it received amongst the rest of the overall amongst the school?
My experience has been wonderful. When I came in, Mr. Hoban was the principal, and now Kelly Mullen is, and administration is really supportive. The culture of the building overall is just really high right now. I tell people all the time because sometimes, it's a lot like a football program. I kind of go back to that where a lot of times, the people that are happy and the positive people aren't necessarily the loudest people. And sometimes all
Ones
people
that aren't happy
hear,
are very loud.
those are the ones you hear.
Yeah.
And but I can tell you, like at Westerly High School, it does not have an attitude problem, a culture problem. The culture is really high right now. It's going in the right direction. I think everybody supports one another. Our staff meetings are good. Our trainings are good. And I feel like I've got the support of administration. Even the kids I feel like this year are raising their level a little bit. Like even the kids that kind of give you a tough time every once in a while are respectful about it. They really are,
That's important.
And
It's very important.
But you
at least
respect
that's
them
what I see.
back. And I think that's a big difference. I mean, I've heard people who have been in a classroom with you who have said, you're there. They know they can turn to you. And I think that says a lot about
Absolutely.
educators, right? That
Mhm.
when they feel comfortable asking you questions, and as you said, they're reaching out to you, I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it takes a certain type of person
Right.
or an educated to successfully bring a program up. I mean, these programs could crash and burn depending on who's teaching. I mean, it's always amazing. The students they'll respect you to a level based on how you're teaching them. There's no doubt about it.
And I hope they see how much work the staff is doing and what the town is pouring in for funding. Because for years kids were leaving Westerly to go to these programs
Right.
at Cheraho
Absolutely.
or at South Kingston or North Kingston, and now we're starting to see the reverse trend. Now that's slowing down, and now kids are staying. And I want there to be a day where no kid leaves our school
Because they want to stay.
because
You
we
know,
have
wanna
everything
stay.
they need right here.
And the benefit to
Westerly.
the community. I mean, as you say, you're working with all these, different organizations.
Yep.
You benefit from it, right?
100% will benefit. I guarantee you within the next few years, so we'll hire somebody from more than one person.
Well, even
from
the
your program.
CSO program, you bring them
Yeah.
up in the CSO program, and they enjoy it. They apply full time.
Well, not how much they enjoy it, but it's experience.
It's
They get.
experience. Well, you kind of like working with
Yep.
people. There's nothing fun about it, but I mean, there's fun things about it. It's rewarding, but because there's cases in the EMT side. Not every case is just wonderful, celebrate at the end. Some
No.
things go bad. I mean,
Yeah.
the end result isn't always good. Or you go to a scene or whatever accident or something. It can be a horrific situation.
Those
that
kids
you have to deal with.
those kids who have come out of it, what do they say to you? Do they say, now I'm hands-on doing what you taught me? Do they feel like they got what they needed?
I just went and got a couple pizzas, at a pizza shop in town, and I saw one of my ex-students who, her junior year struggled. She was floundering a little bit, and she said to me, she's like, "Mr. Miranda, I just want to let you know I'm in the nursing program at Rhode Island College now, and I'm so far ahead of my other classmates, and I didn't understand it when you were pushing me, and while you were in class and you were making us do that homework or those assignments, and that felt really great that, here's a kid that wasn't, extremely gifted, that could just not do anything and still get A's. She had to work for it, and she had to learn to work for it and the hard way. And she did it. And now she's at a nursing program at Rhode Island College, and she's prepared. And I think that, just means a lot.
The
when it
success
happens.
stories are wonderful to hear. They
Yeah.
really are.
That's
There's no
wonderful.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
What next steps? Any new? I mean, where do you take it from here? Because once you get to a certain point, you want to keep going up, like program wise. Anything new coming?
Yeah, I'm always looking for new industry partners. Like the internship side, I think is really important for our kids. I have a full-time intern for the first time this year that shadowed me for the whole year, that she's been out at physical therapist and helped me teach the program. And, she's going to be going into medical school pretty soon. I
How
want
did you line that up?
Wesley High School has an internship program, and she elected to be my intern. So then I could then get her out into the industry and get her in doctor's offices. She wasn't sure if she wanted to be a physical therapist or a nurse or an EMT or a paramedic, so we got her in as many places as she
That's great.
could, so she could actually experience it. And I learned this, in my personal life. My son, he played for me when I was at New London High School, and he went to the New London Magnet School for engineering.
Mhm.
He wanted to be an engineer. Like you said, your son wanted to be a fireman since he was 3. He wanted to be an engineer since he was 3. So he did 4 years in the engineering school over there, went to WPI.
Wow.
And his first year he came home and he's like, Dad, I don't know if I want to be an engineer anymore, because I'm sitting
4
behind
years
a-
of WPI with the debt.
It was only one, thank God.
Oh, it was one. Okay.
Yeah. So, but he was like, I just don't know if I want to sit behind a computer that much in my day-to-day life. And he went to he came back home, went to Wesley Education Center, learned a trade, went to Electric Boat. As soon as they found out he had an engineering background, within 6 months he was in design, and now he's a project manager at EB.
Wow, that's
and
wonderful.
so I always I keep that in the back of my mind of, I want to get these kids out there doing the job, not just learning about it in a classroom because Mr. Miranda says it's cool to, give somebody, oxygen or epinephrine or naloxone or whatever it is. I want them to go out there and see Narcan being given, see what it's like to put somebody on oxygen and for that to improve them, so because that's where they're going to really understand what the job is. And then also, maybe they don't like dealing with old people.
Right.
Maybe they want to deal with pediatrics. Maybe they don't want to deal with people who have cancer. Maybe they want to deal with people that, need physical therapy. It's such a huge field. I want to get them out there and doing the jobs. And I think that's where I'm trying to take it, is that as this is going, and I'm seeing that now with my kids that are juniors, because this is the 3rd year I've had them. My challenge is to keep them excited, is to keep them learning new things and interested, because they've had me for 3 years.
Right.
So now I want to get those guys out there in front of people other than me.
Mhm.
I want to get them out there in the community and in the healthcare field. And so they're really prepared when it comes for them to, take
Yeah,
the next
because
step.
everyone doesn't have to be the paramedic that's the first responder. If you really don't like that end of it, physical therapy, or if you're in a doctor's office, you're treating people after the fact, right? After the initial, whatever the initial rhyme and reason why they're there, which is,
If there were programs like this, would you two have gotten into those, do you think, in school?
probably, it wasn't, yeah, I would assume probably, yeah. I mean, I originally went to a tech college when I got out of high school. So, I mean, so I certainly probably would have.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be a cop. I went to college. The college I went to had a criminal justice program. Even though my freshman year I did change for about one semester because I wanted to be a gym teacher, and then I realized how much work that was. I'm like, no, I'm going back to being a cop.
Yeah.
But no, and those classes kept my interest more than anything. I mean, I went back and got my master's. That's how interested I was in it. It's different. If you like what you do, you enjoy learning more about it.
Right. Yeah.
There's no doubt. But we didn't have that.
It wasn't there.
I mean, there
No,
was Charahoe, there was
right.
Botech at Charahoe, but to be honest with you, I don't even really know what they were.
I was just going
Yeah.
to say, yeah,
at the
it
time.
wasn't,
It wasn't
as you
like-
say, it
I
wasn't
don't know if you had
marketed
an
to
option,
us.
really. I guess we had an option to go, but it was
Could,
never marketed.
you? I don't know if you could just go to Charahoe just to go to Charahoe.
I don't know
think
if
it
you
was-
could, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
either.
they had like automotive carpentry,
Right.
I know that, but I mean, I think it's wonderful that Wesley, the direction they have taken in
Yeah,
these
it's evolved
programs.
because, like you said, education.
It's
I think
definitely, and
evolved.
again, when you start
Right.
seeing the people going to other programs at other facilities, and from, of course, my standpoint, now you look at budgets where the money goes, you know what I mean? And you really want to
Of course.
reel those people back in to your school, because we can offer the same services, if not better, right? And keep the people
Yes.
within your school system.
And not
it's
have to pay to bust them out.
Pay and
or-
bust them out,
right.
or paying tuition to someone else, right? I mean, it just really, it really is a win-win for everyone, the entire community. And then you hope those people work. Maybe they'll stay within the community in this area, working for different.
Yeah, that's a key
Yeah.
to attract, keep local people here is to have the programs here. Because if you go out to college somewhere else because you want looking for a program, they may not come back.
But even like you look at, you talk about the education center and EB. I mean, they're dying to get help. I
Right.
mean, they just saw there's thousands of people they're looking for help. They just can't attract good
I
help.
really can't. Yeah.
They just
And they
can't.
have fire department
They have a
over
fire,
there.
they
They
have
have
EMS
EMS over there. So do you
Yeah,
work
security.
with them?
That's where I was.
Yep.
Even the
and security.
hospitals. You look
Yeah.
at the hospitals. You talk about the girl that raised you the nursing program. They're so short staffed on nurses. I mean, you can almost the ball's in their court. Pick where you want to go,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Per diem nurses or travel
Yeah,
nurses.
Travel nurses.
Travel nurses.
It's a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're willing, if you have that freedom, you know, to go
Yeah.
live somewhere for 3 months or
Right.
6 months, and
I try to convince my wife to be a travel nurse, but she won't. listen.
she's not listening.
Try.
No, no.
Uh,
Well, that's wonderful. I think the program that's very exciting program.
Yeah. Thank you so
As
much
you-
for coming in
I love it.
and telling us about it. And I hope you'll come back again, even though you're a former fireman.
That's fine.
So explain
Uh,
just quickly on the degree. You said they get some sort of stamp on the degree. What does it say that's different? What is it?
So once, if they take all 4 years,
Yeah.
they get their medical career credential. Basically,
Really?
it shows colleges or employers that you majored in something is the best way to.
And the degree is
describe
actually
it.
indicates that.
In your diploma. It actually
Diploma
indicates
indicates
that.
that, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you can get a
All right.
special rope that you wear at graduation. You can always put that on your resume as well.
Mhm.
And plus, you gain so many hours. That's the big thing. Is
Mhm.
like we require 80 hours of work-based learning for our kids. Our medical kids will double that in their 4 years.
Mhm.
So, you know, when your application comes across a med school table and it says, John Doe is applying and he's, a 3.9 student, played 3 sports. And then Jane Doe is applying and she's a 3.9 student. She played 3 sports, but she's also got 160 hours of patient contact, work-based learning. I
Mhm.
mean, to me, if I'm a school, I'm taking that person because
Absolutely.
they've already
Yeah, I would
experienced the
agree. I
job.
agree.
They're
Right.
no, and kids nowadays too, it's a wonderful world we live in, but they don't deal socially a lot like we
Right.
did when we were
Right.
kids. And our kids are forced in the course of their high school career to talk to people, to go,
Yeah.
That's
whether
wonderful.
it's promoting the program to 8th
Right, that's a
graders
good
or
thing.
it's going
Mhm.
out there because you're doing your ambulance time or your hospital volunteering time. I had a kid last week. I said, "What'd you do last night at the hospital?" She said, "Well, I went around and I had to I helped somebody with their cell phone. That was a patient that couldn't use their cell phone. I moved people's personal belongings closer to their bed so they weren't, reaching it and falling out of bed, and talked to them for a little bit." She's like, "I really didn't do much." And then I said, "Well,
That's
if
a
you
lot.
think
That's a
about it, think
lot.
about what you just did.
Yeah.
Like you talk to a patient,
Mhm.
you helped a patient with their cell phone, you helped a patient, not be a fall risk,
Mm.
Those little things go a long way.
And,
They really go a
anybody
long
of us who has had loved ones in the hospital knows what it's like to
Mm-hmm.
have those special people.
Absolutely.
Those are the people that make a difference when it's you or your loved one in the hospital.
Do you
So,
find it's a challenge to get these facilities to give you the hours you need for your students?
yes, it was actually a battle for my first year.
Because liability, I can feel liability, like criminal justice. They set them down. You can't stick them in a car and send them on calls.
Yeah, no, we do have a couple people that intern with us if they need a couple hours here and there, but we really can't take them call to call. I mean, they can come out and go for a ride and check, the town out, but they
Yeah.
can't, as
They
of now,
can't
go on a
respond.
call. I mean,
Mhm.
it'd be nice if they could, but
Yeah.
Liability wise, you wonder, but nothing with the hospitals. They welcome you guys, the amount of people you can give them. They welcome, they have the hours available. And
Yeah, at first, no. I mean, there was a lot of leftover COVID fears.
Yeah.
At first everybody was requiring COVID vaccines.
I reckon.
And, nowadays we're 4 or 5 years out of COVID and not everybody's getting vaccines all the time. So you can't really require them anymore,
Right.
So we had to overcome a lot. There was a lot of meetings. There was a lot of emails. There was a lot of phone calls. But now, like, Wesley Ambulance has always been there for us. They're our original partner and sponsor. So they've been wonderful. Wesley Hospital then came around.
fire trucks.
You got to let them know you're working.
Yeah. It's almost dinner time. Man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I don't want to. But they'll try. Like you mentioned, Bacchus, Lawrence Memorial. These kids are traveling to these
They
different
are now.
facilities, South
Yeah.
County.
And it's a good problem to have because we're at the point now where we have 20 students going for these volunteer hours. That's 800 hours that we're going to have to get.
You're going to have to find them.
So
Yeah.
Wesley Hospital can't take them all. So now you know, they're going to L&M, they're going to Bacchus.
You line them up, or is that their responsibility to find the hours? Or do you kind of give them a contact? And
We give them a contact. We ask them like, hey, who wants to go where? And then we put them in contact with the different volunteer, you know, organizers and supervisors that are there. And then they go through, it's a process. They have to do an interview, you know, so these 16,
Wow, that's
17
great
year old
that
kids
they're
have to do an
doing that.
interview to get in.
That's going to make them better when they go
Yeah,
for a job
absolutely,
interview, right? I
100%,
mean,
right.
yeah, you need that. You need that.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
said, the kids don't have that. It's different. I mean, I noticed with my kids, they're that social interaction. I don't think you
That's
could get
because
my,
we all have these. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
Life
That changes
skills.
the dynamic, right?
Yeah, you're teaching life skills in so many
Mhm.
ways.
Mhm.
Well,
Thank you.
congratulations. Thank you so much for
I'm glad
coming
the
in.
program's going. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
And that's good for
Excellent.
you to
We'll
hear.
keep you
Pat
guys
right?
yourself on the
updated.
back. You have 80 people. I mean, that's wonderful.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll come back and we'll check in with the chief and see how he makes out with the CSOs.
yeah, like this first responder program, I think is going to be a game changer for us and for the rest of the departments in town. Again, it brings that exposure. You know, you could be on the ambulance, going to ambulance calls and seeing what the police are doing. Well, I'm kind of interested in what they're doing, maybe instead, or vice versa. So it's definitely it's good. It's going to go well.
Life-changing events, life
Yeah.
learning
Yep,
things.
that's
it
great.
really
May
is.
7th is going to be that open house. So if anybody's out there and
I was just going to say,
yeah.
tell us about that.
yeah, May 7th at Watch Hill Fire from 7 to 8 is going to be the event. There is a registration link on the flyer that's all over Facebook now, and we're going to be putting it out to the
Yep,
Westerly
and 321
Sun.
Media had
Yeah.
it on their page. So
It says what 15 plus you have to be to
Yeah,
go out.
15 plus, and if they can send an email to junior first responder at watchhillfire.com if they would like, if they have any questions, but it's on the flyer as well. So come on down May 7th, 7 to 8. Even if you don't register, just come on down and hear about all the different organizations that are going to be part of it, and we'll take it from there.
that's wonderful.
Exciting.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Thank you for doing that. The chief at the end always gives us a little history lesson because really that's what he wants to be as a
Yeah.
history teacher, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I don't know how good I can be with kids.
I
but-
think he'd be great.
So I found one for right around this time, 1927. Horse fights with officer. The animal performed Wild West stunts out in Dixon Square. Officer Kessel tries to lasso and others rope stunts in vain. A white horse and a blue coat of the Westerly Police Force afforded the few pedestrians who were out bright and early this morning with something new in police circles. So essentially, the horse got loose. It was running around, and we eventually caught it. The horse didn't think kindly of the idea of being confined, so it balked a little bit and bolted down Broad Street. They ended up catching up to it. He was hitched to the hitching post until Jerome Paganini arrived and took possession of his wandering steed. That was 100
Well, that's a good one.
years ago in Dixon Square. A little Wild West show.
A little different look
Wow.
outside this
A little
window. This
different.
building was here, but I'm sure the a little different.
No
look out the window.
sirens.
This one, it's April 11th of 29. The council grants chapel permit. Does not require fireproof construction at Mesquamaket. The application of
Does
the,
not require fireproof construction.
yeah. So the application of the Church of the Immaculate Conception for a building permit to construct a additional chapel at the St. Clair Chapel on
Must
Crandall
be St.
Avenue.
Clair, right?
So that was
Yeah.
part of Immaculate at one point.
Yeah.
Well, they all were. That's why
Yeah.
they
I
always
don't
call
know.
Immaculate the Mother
Yes.
Church, right?
Well,
That
St.
was it.
Michael's was the mother church
Originally, right?
originally, and
then it
then
branched over to here.
Immaculate was the Rhode Island one.
It was because it was made out of stucco, so they said they didn't need fireproofing stuff. Because stucco
Interesting.
was fireproofing.
I'm sure
so
they learned that was not
Watch
the
Hill
case.
has
The
to
whole inside
respond
of St.
there,
Clair's
right?
Church.
Yes, now I know.
And
Right, now you know.
I think
Now
the
you know what
final
it's made
one-
of.
Yeah, the final one's 4/13/1954. A new Nash cruiser was delivered to the police. So one or two police cruisers was ordered. It was a two-door Nash sedan, which replaced the 1952 Plymouth Cruiser. So
Nash. I
What's a
remember that.
Nash sedan?
I've
I
never
remember
seen
the
it.
name Nash. I don't know if it was short-lived.
It was like the Dodges. I think it replaced Ford for a little bit, and then they went back to we went back to Fords. So that's my history today. It wasn't too crazy. I ran out of
I
time.
like the horse
but
one. That's
the horse
good.
one was a good one, so I had to
Yeah.
use it.
Well,
I
thank you very
imagine the
much.
police probably used to fight with not only the disruptive people, but I guess you have disruptive horses.
I guess
When we
so.
went to the automobiles, I guess we really didn't have disruptive automobiles unless you were driving them
Well,
disruptively.
Yeah, because
Um,
last time we learned that when there was a fire here. The horses were in the back, right?
Yeah. They couldn't get
So
them
maybe
out for the
that's where
fire.
he got out from, back here.
They probably said it, but as usual, I didn't read the whole article. I
Yeah,
just
that's
skimmed
okay.
it.
Skimmed
So
it.
what do you
Read the
are
title.
you coaching girls softball?
I am travel softball.
The travel softball. So you have people from all different schools.
Yes.
So what travel? My daughter's played on the travel team years back, but where are you playing? Mass,
Wesley Wave Runners.
Yeah.
is
Oh, okay,
is
it's the same group. Yeah.
organization.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How many girls? A lot of girls involved.
Yeah, at 16U we have 2 teams.
Wow.
We have
Wow.
actually we have one 18U team, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 12, a 10, and I think we might have an 8 this year. It's
Really?
yeah, it started 7, 8 years ago with one
Softball's a
10U
big
team,
thing.
and then now it's
Yeah, my daughter
really-
tried it last year. I couldn't imagine the people are. It's crazy the amount of people that play all different leagues.
And you
rec
play.
league.
You play now. You're starting now.
no, we put it on hold for high school. Once
Once high school's done, they
season-
jump in. You play through the summer,
exactly. We played all, so we'll
through
start
the
up
fall, or no?
June 14th. Yeah, there'll be 2 or 3 tournaments in the fall, and then there's winter training and during the winter time.
Wow.
So it's really
So you really have a lot of downtime.
Because
Well,
he retired.
Oh,
so
well,
I mean,
he
got
went.
playing.
Come on now. He went from the 24 on, 72 off, which again,
Yeah.
to now he's what 180. That's all. 180 days.
Plus all of this
plus
work.
everything else. He has time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was being facetious. I don't
I
think
know.
he has much.
I even envy the
downtime.
180 theory. The 180 theory would be nice too.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We're sure Ben is listening, and I guess we'll let him
we
come
will
back.
give
but-
him our rating of you. Don't
Right.
worry. We'll let him know our thoughts.
right.
Next week.
A
Yep.
scale
Yeah.
of 1 to 10. So 10
Awesome.
being
Yeah.
the best, you got a 10. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
So thank you very much for being here. And we'll be back next week.
Next
and
week.
you get to
Yes.
pick the guest next week.
I think I have
since-
it. I think he's in my head.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Coach Miranda, because
you
you
very much
coach
for coming.
everything. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming.
Coach.
And May 7th, again,
Watch Hill
watch Hill.
7 8.
Great. Thank you.
And what do you have? Just
Congratulations.
quickly, I know I keep you. Who you bringing in? All kinds of. Who you bringing in to promote things?
Watch Hill Fire and hopefully other fire
Fire
departments
departments.
as well. Police department will be
Yeah.
there. Representative from the Coast Guard will be there
Oh,
for the public
really? Okay.
safety course. The conservation program down at Watch Hill will be there. Wesley Ambulance will be there. And who else am I forgetting?
Yeah. Watch Out Fire, Wesley Surf Rescue, Ambulance, Conservancy,
You
Career
doing?
and
Is,
Tech
is
Department.
Wesley Recreation there? Because we.
Yeah,
Park and Rec.
Wesley Parks and
Yeah.
Rec. They're a lot. Dunn's Corners Fire, Coast Guard, and
Lifeguarding.
Parks and Rec.
Lifeguarding,
Yeah,
yeah, that's-
Aaron
that's
Perkins will
right.
be there for the lifeguarding.
Wow. Well, maybe we should go down and look
Although
at it.
Aaron is kind of competition to us in our lifeguards.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
I mean that's kind of
True.
He's got another group he's trying to rally in. It's
Well, it's
competition.
funny because back in the day, you had a fight. You know, we would take them from them because you.
No,
work
we
at the
did. There's no
Atlantis,
doubt
you,
about
you
it.
know, work
Yeah.
at Patty's, work at all the, the Andrea. That was the fun. That was fun. Now they don't go.
the kids are interesting now. They go where the money is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you blame them?
They go where the money is.
That's right. So you have
And,
to pay if you
Back
want.
in our day, you went where it was more fun to work.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily where the money was.
Yeah.
I don't think
Where
there was
they-
that much of a riot
Yeah.
discovering differences in the money. So
No,
now
true.
it can be pretty
True.
good amount.
Coach, thank you very much for coming in.
There you go.
And we really, really appreciate it. All the work that you're doing for our community. So thank you. All right, Chief,
Yep.
Manager, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
We'll
Enjoy
see you
this
guys.
Wonderful afternoon.
All right, have a
Beautiful.
great day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Oh.
Ben.
Ben.
Ben.